it is Super Bowl week. Shout out to the Philadelphia Eagles and the Kansas City Chiefs. They'll play on Sunday. Very excited. Do you have a team right now? Do you have a way you're leaning?
I do. Like 65% of the friends I made in college are Eagles fans. I don't hate the Eagles. I like the Eagles. So I like Jalen Hurts, like AJ Brown. So I'm pulling for the Eagles, I think.
Yeah, I think I don't know. I think I'm going Eagles. I don't think I'm going to be upset either way.
Yeah.
I'll be
okay.
I
wouldn't mind if Andy Reid won.
Again. No, I like Andy Reid beating the Eagles. I think that would be a cool storyline. I like the Chiefs. I got no issues with the Kansas City Chiefs overall. I like the Eagles. I don't really like Eagles fans, but big Eagles guy, grew up, an hour and a half outside of Philly. So everybody's an Eagles fan up there. My brother's actually in Philly. He broke his elbow skateboarding a couple weeks ago, had to come home. Yeah. So you got to remember this guy's in a cast, like a full arm cast. He has to come home on Friday to see the doctor with the elbow. He's going back. He's coming home Friday. He's going back Saturday morning so that he doesn't get stuck in traffic. And my mom was like, do you want to go? Like, why don't you watch the Super Bowl here? And he's like, because I want to be in Philadelphia with one arm just in case. So I could, if there is a picture of some guy climbing a pole, long hair, dude's got super long hair with one arm in a cast, that's my brother. Everybody, shout out Dakota Strackbine. I think I'm with you. I think I like Philly. I like Jalen Hurts. I've been real into the Kelsey brothers podcast lately, and Jason Kelsey and Travis Kelsey just get me. But I would like to see Travis or Jason Kelsey kind of get another one. I don't know. I get sentimental with that. There are two names that stick with the Steelers: Juju Smith-Schuster, Javon Hargrave. Juju is questionable, I think, at this point, but I think expectations are he's going to play. Both guys have had really good seasons, bounce back years. Hargrave has had 2 or 3 good years in Philadelphia now, both set to hit the free agent market after the season. Just to read off some stats. Javon Hargrave's year has looked like 60 tackles, 11 sacks. That's a career high. That's a significant jump in a career high. 10 tackles for loss, another career high. 16 quarterback hits, 2 pass deflections, a forced fumble, and 2 fumble recoveries. Great year for Javon Hargrave. I think he was snubbed for the Pro Bowl. I think that was a little ridiculous. Then there's Juju Smith-Schuster, who has also had a bounce back year. 78 receptions, 933 yards, his second highest in his career, and 3 touchdowns. Thought it was another good year. If you're the Pittsburgh Steelers, are you hoping for a Javon Hargrave return or a Juju Smith-Schuster return? Let me just tell you, this is from Spotrac, our sport. Didn't we talk about this the other day? How do you pronounce it? We did.
I thought it was Spotrac, but I don't know.
Spotrac. It could be Spotrac. Yeah. I don't know. Whatever. Either way, we also found out that's not the place to go, but we're going to use it anyways. Juju's estimated market value is 4 years, 58.6 million, 14.6 million a year. Huge number. Javon Hargraves is 3 years, 60.4 million, 20.1 million per year. Another huge contract. Say you're sitting there and you got to pick one of them. If you're the Pittsburgh Steelers, which you don't have $20 million or $14 million in cap space, but somehow they'd have to figure it out. Which one are you taking if you're the Steelers?
Man, if money wasn't an issue, it'd be Hargrave. I feel like in a landslide. Yeah. Just because of need, and I think he's also probably the more valuable player just in a vacuum. I don't know. I like Juju. I feel like if you could save a little bit of money, like got enough defensive linemen, I think I would. This is a tough one. I'm probably still going with Hargrave because at that point you're spending money that you don't have.
Yeah,
and so I just go get the better player. I'm gonna stick with Hargrave.
Yeah, I think if you're coming up with $20 million, because either way you're gonna have to come up with like roughly $20 million.
Right.
Hargrave is just so valuable. You add another 11 sacks to that defensive line. You get a true-blooded guy who could play the nose tackle, who could play defensive end. You're feeling really good about that. A guy next to Cam Hayward who they know each other. They could feed off of each other. You hope that maybe a guy like DeMarvin Leal steps up his game and could form himself into something. $20 million is a lot of money, like a lot of money. But I don't know what, like Larry Ogunjobi signed for $8 million on a 1-year screw it the guy couldn't pass a physical in Chicago deal. So how much cheaper are you going to get somebody who's actually valuable on the open market? I feel like $20 million for, I mean, what's Cam supposed to take? Like $32 million or something? What's
Right.
Cam Hayward's hit this year is ridiculous.
Yeah. A
If
lot of
you're
money.
doing something like that, I mean, what's the difference? As long as he works out. Cam Hayward's hit this year is actually only $22 million. That's not crazy. It's got a $12 million dead cap though. So that's probably where it gets a little rough.
Yeah.
That's still huge. I mean, is it worth it though? Like if you're the Steelers, are you comfortable adding another ginormous contract on defense and just saying we'll figure it out somehow?
Yeah, probably, because I think the rest of your team is pretty young. Like your offense is still pretty young. The defense is expensive, but the defense is also good. Like
Yeah.
you have to pay for talent. And they got plenty of it on defense. I don't know. And like rushing the quarterback is really valuable. I don't know. Like I'd be much more comfortable going cheap on the linebackers or something like that if you could just sack every quarterback all the time. Like I don't know.
The Steelers do. They build through those front five, and it has worked in the past. It's worked with Javon Hargrave there. I mean, Javon Hargrave was part of that initial Minkah Fitzpatrick defense where that group, I mean, nearly led Duck Hodges to the playoffs. That's how good they were. Duck Hodges and nobody at running back. Jalen Samuels was the starting running back for half that season. So yeah, I agree with you. I think that's the move. If you're paying Juju, what's your cutoff there? Juju's sitting there. Are you paying him $10 million? Or are you saying, maybe not. Maybe Calvin Austin's a better move.
I'd maybe go as high as like 12. I don't know. I think
okay.
But probably not much more than that. Like 14.
14 seems high, right? Like you're $4 million, 14.6. Like you're $4 million less than Deontay Johnson. And I'm sorry, but Juju Smith-Schuster is not Deontay Johnson. Not even close.
Got more touchdowns than Deontay
okay. If you're telling me if Deontay Johnson played in Kansas City, he wouldn't be ridiculous.
I don't know. He had a couple chances to catch some touchdowns this year, and he just let them sail through his hands. I don't know how that gets better with Patrick Mahomes.
Let's talk about this then. Juju's, I guess touchdown-wise, he has caught more touchdowns. He caught 9.
Didn't he have more yards
2 years ago? He did have more yards than Deontay. He did. But again, it's Andy Reid's offense compared to Matt Canada's offense with Mitch Trubisky, Kenny Pickett, and then back to Mitch Trubisky. Like the rough year for wide receivers in Pittsburgh. Very rough year for wide receivers in Pittsburgh. And just the talent wise, that there's no question. I don't care what. There's no question. If you put Deontay Johnson in Kansas City and tell me Patrick Mahomes is his quarterback, Travis Kelce is the guy who's taking all the defensive attention, and Andy Reid's calling the plays, and Deontay Johnson's going to have just as good of a year.
I don't know. I don't think there's a huge difference in terms of talent between him and Juju.
Oh, I do.
You really think it's that big a gap?
Significant. Yeah. I think Juju's very good for what he does, which is being a big body to like a big body that, I don't know, like he's not a go up and get it guy. He's just a big body out there on the field who could run decently fast. So he could break away from guys in open field, but he's a good blocker. I think Juju's very good. Like if he was in Pittsburgh, he'd be a really good slot guy. But no, I think if Deontay Johnson actually had some talent around him at all during his career, some like legit elite level talent, he would be one of the best wide receivers in football. Easy. Like easy. A totally different situation. And that's not taking anything away from Juju. I'm not saying that. I just think Deontay Johnson has had a very rough in his NFL career. He had Mason and Duck year to like a very quickly aging Ben Roethlisberger to no running game, very, very old Ben Roethlisberger to Mitch Trubisky, who didn't want to throw him the football, Kenny Pickett, who didn't want to throw him the football, and then Kenny Pickett, who did want to throw him the football, mixed in with concussions left and right. Just a rough time to be Deontay Johnson. I think he's got so much talent. But again, Steelers fans would highly disagree with me. So sometimes you're wrong. Either way, Juju's a good number. 12 million. I like 12 million. Javon Hargrave's the easy answer. Go
Yeah.
load up that defense and
Absolutely.
get it going, which is good. Go Eagles. We'll see what happens. I'm sure we'll talk plenty of football or plenty of Super Bowl as we move through the week.